Hello Moment friends! Andang here, very excited because of some recent news for LOTRO. In an interview with Daddy's LOTRO Guides, Severlin, LOTRO's executive producer, said the previously hinted Something Big is a new expansion for LOTRO. Severlin does not want to say too much yet though, as plans may change. So Severlin says, right now we have a 2.5-year plan, and Daddy points out 2.5 years does translate to the end of 2018. But right now we have a 2.5-year plan. And the reason we don't want to plan far beyond that is because we want to see where players' heads are after that much time. We are currently focused on not only telling the epic story leading up to the Black Gate, but sort of what happens beyond. We have already kind of hinted to the players that an expansion is on its way. I do not want to say too much about that because if I talk about the expansion now, we are still early enough that things may change, and I do not want to disappoint the community. This is one of the reasons we don't usually talk about it, not because we do not have long-term plans, just the opposite. We want to tell the epic story, and we all know Mordor is coming. We want Mordor to satisfy not only the story buffs, but also make the experience of entering Mordor really epic, because it is something other than the two hobbits we did not really see much of. So, first of all, Turbine is planning to have an expansion for LOTRO. If you remember, they said they were planning something big. That something big, he said he hinted it, so that means that the something big is the expansion. So they are planning to have an expansion to LOTRO. That's the current plan. That is awesome. We've not had an expansion since 2013, and that was Helm's Deep. A very controversial expansion because of the epic battles, because of the class changes, because of the fact that the epic battles were locked inside to where the epic story could not be completed without purchasing the expansion, so you could do the epic battles because the epic battles were in the epic story. That was hugely controversial. 3 controversial things, plus there were other things that players were not exactly satisfied about. Helm's Deep was a very controversial expansion. It was also the last expansion LOTRO had. I don't care what's in Mordor. I don't care what is in this potential Mordor expansion. I am excited for LOTRO again. More excited than I've been since before Helm's Deep released. Because of the potential to have possibly the final expansion for LOTRO. Maybe not, but possibly the final expansion for LOTRO. To be something worth remembering. And the reason that I'm saying this is because Update 18, the most recent update for LOTRO, was a fantastic update. It added in a raid that players actually liked, and liked a lot. And it added in instances and a whole bunch of other stuff, not to mention, in my opinion, the best part of the epic story that we have ever gotten. The side quests weren't the best, but it was a good update all the way around. And they've had great side quests in the past. If they can put everything that they've learned together, I think that this can be the best expansion LOTRO's ever had, regardless of what's in it. That makes me excited. Another thing that makes me excited is that we're going to be entering Mordor. Entering Mordor. Which is, as they say, something we do not see much of, other than when the 2 halflings go there. And the 2 halflings, Frodo and Sam, really don't see that much of Mordor. There's an entire place where Sauron feeds his army. There's a sea in Mordor. A whole huge body of water known as a sea. There's a lot of potential there for something that we have not really seen except for in Shadow of Mordor. But even there, in Shadow of Mordor, they still explore a very small part of Mordor. The possibilities of what they could do in Mordor are immense. And it will be something that is almost assuredly different than anything we've experienced in LOTRO so far. That is also exciting. The interview continued on to talk about the license agreement. And Cordovan actually gave the most detailed description of the license agreement that I think we've ever gotten by far. Like, if you added up all the descriptions of the license agreement that we've gotten so far, this trumps that as far as the amount of information. And in my opinion, this is actually the bigger news, because it basically completely kills this idea that LOTRO is going to be ending in 2017. It's still technically a possibility, but they say that basically the license agreement has always been a routine piece of business. From the very start. From the very start. It has always been a routine piece of business. So while we can understand that some folks like to talk about it on the forums, and as you said, doomsay, the reality is that it's just a private piece of business that has been routine. It's a routine piece of business. Ultimately, if there was a major issue with the license, you guys would probably find out about it because the game would no longer be operating after a certain point. This is not a reality show. Are they going to get kicked off the island thing? We're speculating month after month, year after year. It is basically just a routine piece of business. And we have no reason to think this won't be a continuation of that. It's a routine piece of business, and they have no reason to think that they will not be able to get the license back. That is awesome. I'll tell you why that is awesome. Turbine is not worried about its own future of its license agreement for LOTRO. They're not. It's just a routine piece of business for them. And they have a 2.5-year plan, which takes them after the license agreement to 2018. And the only reason that they don't plan far beyond that is because they want to see players' reaction, essentially, and be able to adapt their plan from there. Unless Warner Brothers decides to shut it down, there's essentially no reason to think that LOTRO will not be able to continue. Because the license agreement is a routine piece of business. Now, it is possible Warner Brothers could decide to shut LOTRO down for multiple reasons. It's not making money anymore, they don't like that they're still developing it, or some other reason. But at the end of the day, Turbine is not worried about their own future. In fact, they're excited about it. As Made of Lions says, Made of Lions talks about the upcoming epic story. And Made of Lions says, "Thank you so much, but you haven't seen anything yet. I am just super excited about the things we are coming up to. We do not try to rest on our laurels. We are always thinking about the next thing. I am very excited for what that is going to be." Made of Lions is excited. We know several developers on the forums are excited about the Something Big, which is the planned expansion for LOTRO. Turbine is excited about LOTRO. And from the way that they talk, and from the way that they talk on the forums, it sounds like Turbine is one of the most excited people about LOTRO. That makes me excited. That is the big piece of news. And the big thing to take away from this is that Turbine is excited and not worried about being shut down anytime soon. That's the big news. Not that we're getting an expansion. Or not getting an expansion. That's currently in the plan. But even if it were for sure, I would still argue that's not the biggest piece of news. Because Turbine is finally communicating to us that they are excited about the game and that they are not worried at all about the license agreement. And I really wish that the license agreement had never been talked about as far as like saying the date of which it would end in the very first time. Because while it seemed like a long, far off way back then, it's been nothing but the discussion of the community and the big place that players point to and say, well, LOTRO is going to end in this year, and then that year comes by and LOTRO doesn't end. Turbine's not worried about it. Why are we worried about it? What is it about the MMO community base that makes people so worried about their games ending all the time? Turbine's not worried about it. Turbine's excited. And I'm excited. I'm legitimately excited about this news. This is fantastic news, especially after the recent updates LOTRO's been having. This makes me incredibly excited. And hopefully you are as well. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this news. If you're excited about it, or if you're not. I'm very curious about the expansion, about what is going to be done in Mordor, maybe what you think is going to be happening there, what we're going to be doing, what we might be doing after Mordor. Because they say they have plans until 2018. Now, that might still all be Mordor. I don't know. But they have quite a bit of plans. Let me know what you think the update schedule is going to be looking like as we go all the way to the end of 2018. And also let me know what you think about the communication that Turbine's been having recently. If you think it's enough, or if you think it's better. Or if you don't care and you're already tired of LOTRO and LOTRO news. Let me know. I really am curious. I want to know. Because I love talking to you guys about this. This is what I made this channel for, essentially, is to talk to you. And I love news so much that I just like to discuss news. So let me know in the comments below. Now, the interview does continue on to talk about lag and rating. And you can just click on this link. Again, links will be in the description for not only the LOTRO Players article, but also the Daddy's LOTRO Guides interview article. And as you can see, there's a whole lot of developers that they had in this, which is fantastic. I highly recommend listening to the audio version because some of the transcript is messed up. I actually retouched up the transcript for this one because it was just majorly off from what the official words were. I don't think it really changed any of the messaging, but I just personally like a really accurate transcript. And the one I had is still not 100% accurate in one sentence because of the way he says it, but it basically just skips ahead. But there is a lot of discussion about lag and what is actually causing lag and how they have determined that they think that possibly, maybe for sure this time, maybe possibly that it is actually on a client-side memory type thing. So you can read through or listen through and find out all about that and find out about their thoughts on how ratings related to lag. But the reason I didn't include it in this is because I don't think that Turbine gave much of an interesting answer, and so I decided not to cover it. But you are more than welcome to go and check it out yourself. And also, there will be a part 2 of this interview that will be released in the near future. He does say later this week. And it's going to be talking about the future of raids, the loot system, burglar and hunter love, update 19, imbuement, Tier 2C of older content being relevant still, essences, and fellowship maneuvers. That's a lot of great stuff. And so depending on what the interview actually ends up being, I might make another video like this going over it, but I will for certain have another article up at LOTRO Players, and I highly recommend heading over to Daddy's LOTRO guides, because they have a lot of awesome guides about raiding and instances and big battles or epic battles, and just game mechanics and all that sort of stuff. So if you are into raiding and group type gameplay in LOTRO, this really is the website for you. There's a lot of awesome material on here. Highly recommend checking out this website if you have not already. So that's pretty much it. Once again, please let me know in the comments below what you have thought about the idea of a possible expansion for LOTRO, what Mordor is going to be like in LOTRO's plan that is apparently going until 2018, and what else might be included in that plan, what you think about the licensing agreement for LOTRO, and how LOTRO has communicated about that, how Turbine has communicated about that, and also what you thought of Might of Lions comment, because it's kind of awesome. And anything else you want to talk about, just let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and I will see you again real soon for more content. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the like button below. And if you'd like to see more of my daily content, feel free to subscribe, and you'll be notified when that new content comes out. And also, if you'd like to help support my channel and help me continue to create high quality videos, feel free to support me on Patreon, and you can get all sorts of great rewards in the process. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you again real soon for another video.